So if I go to /notes/45 or something, it ends up redirecting me right now. In order for this to be useful, clicking in this, taking us to /note/ID, what do we need to do? Right now, clicking on one of these just changes the value of current note. What if it were a link, though? What if these were actually links to /notes/ whatever the ID is? Push it onto history? Yeah, programmatically. Well, what if they were links, though? We could do that. We could do it on click, push it onto history. But if they were links, so that's when you need to do it programmatically, because the action you're taking is something other than clicking a link, like submitting a form. But in this case, we are clicking things in the sidebar. These are basically links. They're not links right now, they're things with an on-click, because the thing that we want them to do is something other than navigate to a new URL. But we can make them just navigate to a new URL. Because the thing it has to communicate, the thing clicking this has to tell React is what the current node is now. But if it sticks the ID in the URL, then we kind of got that. So let's see about that. So that happens way down in Note, I think. Let's look at Note list real quick. So Note list, well, I was a dope. These links are here instead of inside instead of being inside Note. But we'll get rid of those. So I had an ahref there already. So inside Note list, I loop over my notes, right, with notes map. And then it renders this note for each one. And inside Note, I've just got an li and a bunch of divs, and the li has an on-click. But what if we import NavLink from React Router DOM? Let's wrap this li in a NavLink. And say NavLink to what? So the note, remember this note component is being rendered 3 times, 1 for each note, right? So this note prop that's being passed down has the ID, the title, and the body, right? So knowing that, what do I want this NavLink to link to? We want it to have note.id in it, right? Yeah. Thanks, Sasha. So how about this? We'll put a template literal in here. It goes to /notes/note.id. And then I'm suggesting we could do without the on-click, if that's the case. Let's see about that. Let's watch our URL. Okay, so it goes there. Goes there. Now I've got the back button. Nothing's happening to the form, but we'll get there. So now clicking this does indeed change the URL. But that's kind of all it does. It doesn't even though I use NavLink, I'm not seeing any different style here, right? But let's have a look here. Here's my top link. Look at that. If I click on that one, I get the class active here. So we could style it differently from the others. Click on this one, active goes off of that one, active goes onto this one. So we can actually change our CSS to reflect that. Let's look at note.css. Is there note.css? No, I think it's in notelist.css. Is there anything in here for .active? There's not. Is the note stuff in here? LI, here's some stuff about the LIs. Okay, here's one we're hovering over. So inside note list, inside the UL with an ID of note, an LI that we're hovering over gets this background color. What if we also say note list UL hash notes a.active LI, give it the same background color. What does that do? That did it. Now, it's a little goofy. There's some other styles it looks like that we need. So whatever the rest of the hover styles are, looks like dot note star, huh? Where's class note? There's class note. So I kind of need this selector on there too, except it's not li hover, it's a.active. Color white, important. And text decoration, none, important. Important you need to do sometimes to override other rules that kind of clash with what you're doing. You want to use it as little as you possibly can, but there was some reason I needed to use it here. I don't remember what it is now because that was a long time ago, but something still isn't quite right. This top border, oh no, yeah, I've still got something happening when I hover that doesn't happen when I don't hover, and it's a top border. So where is the border color transparent? There we go. That's what I need. Border color transparent. Yeah, come on, you. Why are you doing that? No, shouldn't. Yeah? There's a border top none. So that's on first of type. That shouldn't be the thing that's different when you hover. Yeah, it's not that. So basically I'm trying to make the active state the same as the hover state. So here are all the rules for hover. So the LI gets a background color of this. The note, which maybe should only be the LI. Maybe that should actually be a separate rule. I don't know. Maybe it's a separate rule for a reason. I don't remember. And this gets everything that's inside the thing with the class of note. But something is still different when I hover. So when I stop hovering, something shows back up. What is it? And on which element? So it's narrow. It's not all the way across, which means it's not the LI itself. It's this thing. I think it's note. Let's see what's different. Okay, if I hover over this, and then I look at note, Border color transparent. Display box. So what's different about hovering over that? I have all that stuff there. Border color transparent. But for some reason, if I get rid of the hover, padding goes away. Text decoration, none. I don't see that rule. Is this the active one? Yes, class active. I don't see that rule that I just wrote. I don't see my a.active rule. I don't see these three things. Oh, not on the note itself. That would be on everything inside the note. So maybe I need to do it on the note and everything inside the note. Let's try that. That did it. So here's what I added. My new CSS to make the hover state, or not the hover state, but the active state look right. Since we used NavLink, it adds the active class, but we still need to style it. So that way, whichever one I'm on has the nice blue background. So I just pasted that CSS in there. So we just added the NavLinks. And that really means we don't need set current note inside note anymore, right? We're not calling this anymore. So I'm going to take it out of there, which means I don't need to pass it in there from note list. Here we are, set current note. Don't need to do it anymore. Which means we're not using it inside note list anymore, so I can take it out of the list here, which means I no longer need to pass it down to note list from main. And now that is part of, let's see, note list. Here we go. Set current note. Don't need to do it anymore. Not being used. Right? Add NavLinks to notes in the sidebar.